Everybody. What's up, people? Welcome to episode 9 of the Let's Be Real show, also known as the Let's Be Fraud show, because we have Stelios from Tottenham Away on, and we have Will, also from Will Stewart 365 and Tottenham Away coming on. But let's speak of the devil. There he is. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. There he is. You put him, get him in the layout. He's in the back. Oh no. Oh no.
That was
Big up, Will. You know, this is my second show in 2 days that I've been on with Will, and I'll tell you what, Will, I am tired of you already. Okay,
I
tired
stuck
of you
up
already.
for you yesterday. What are you talking about?
I didn't need to be stood up for it, but that, just go back and watch that. Just go back and watch that show. It was a good show. It was a great show. On Asmax channel, Southview Coys. Go and subscribe if you haven't already. But big up to Six Inside. Let's say hello to our guests. Big up, Stel. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. The only frauds here are you two. Remember that.
I think that's not factual, but okay.
It is 100% factual and evidence-based and sanctioned by the authorities of YouTube. So there you go.
Do you have like a line to the authorities of YouTube?
Absolutely. Direct. Pick up one phone call. Phone call. That's all it is.
All right. That's fair.
I'm good.
That's
Other than that, I'm all right. I'm good. Looking forward to Spurs playing tomorrow night. Get it out the way and then put the pressure on you lot.
Yeah, you guys are gonna smash them, unfortunately. Will, how are you, my friend? You good?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Good.
How's the weather down there in the southeast?
It's not super cold, but it's not super hot. I mean, I'm probably like mid 50s.
Yeah, it's way better than where we are in Kansas City, man. But yeah. And then we got Connor, my co-host with the most. This is his show. I'm just here talking loudly into a microphone. Connor, how are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Buzzing that we're finally through the Champions League group stage. So we're now through to the knockouts, and it's going to be interesting to see what team we get on Monday. But now I'm good, and I'm looking forward to the football on the weekend as well. So there should be some interesting topics today, especially with these two. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. We got Mike Doss in the chat. Mike Doss is going to be coming on the American Idiot Show on Friday. Big up, Mike Doss. I would say subscribe to his channel, but the fraud doesn't have one. He just has a really nice mustache. But big up, Mike Doss, every single time. All right, Connor, what do you want to talk about, my friend? Let's get into it. Let's get into it with the with our friends over at Tottenham Away here. Let's go. What do you got?
I do want to quickly. I mean, the news that did drop today was more charges. More charges were being talked about with Mikel Arteta to do with the Newcastle game. His comments after the game to do with the handball incident with Kai Havertz. Luckily, the charges have been dropped and he's not been punished in any way again. Because I'm not going to lie, do you know what? I feel like when I was watching that Villa game, I was thinking we probably did need him on the sidelines. I mean, I know I get a bit pissed off now and then when he micromanages everything. Like he is literally he's never not in his box. He's always outside of it. But it would have been a bit annoying to see him punished again for another incident where he should have really controlled himself. It was his comments after the game in the interviews about the handball incident, which I personally believe it was a handball, but a lot of Arsenal fans don't. But hey, it's people's opinion. But the reason I brought it up was because, again, and I brought this comment up before, there's situations like this where you look at Mikel Arteta and he gets himself into situations like this, and you look at the Aston Villa game, obviously he wasn't there. And as Postecoglou don't really do that in a good way. He's chill. He just sort of lets his team do his thing. But the question I was going to put out, because obviously we are the Tottenham guys here, is it good that Mikel Arteta, is a bit hyperactive, is always on the field, out of his technical box or really getting involved? Because obviously you look at Tottenham's last before Newcastle, last 5 games, obviously not fantastic. Is that to do with him possibly not being more active on the sidelines? Has he got to be more interactive with the team? I don't know. That's the question I'm throwing out. Is it a good or bad thing? I mean, we could say it's a bad thing because Arteta's getting punished for it, or nearly getting punished for it twice. So that's my question.
Sure, with
Who do you wanna
Stel, what do
go
you got,
first?
Stel?
Go on,
Well,
Stel.
First of all, it's an absolute disgrace of the highest level that Arteta hasn't been punished and charged, because I work. No, I'm not being biased here. I work in youth football, and they use youth football as the test bed to bring in things into adult football, right? Where it should be the other way around. They should use adult football, and if it works, trickle it down. So the youngsters, as they grow up, they're going into a system where what they've been doing already applies. There's no point teaching kids one way when the adult game doesn't do it, because then you're teaching the kids one way. Then when they become adults, what? It's different now. The different rules apply for behavior. So the FA have got this wrong. For example, they're trying to bring in a sin bin rule. They've been doing that in grassroots football for God knows how long. Last 2-3 years, sin bin rule. Well, put it in the adult game first, see if it works there, then trickle it down. In grassroots football, if you do what Arteta did, you're looking at suspensions, charges, fines, all sorts. How he can say that after the game about the officials, whether he's right or wrong, I'm not disputing whether he's right or wrong, but for him to say that, you've now given precedent to every young player. If you don't like what a referee does, just tell him he's embarrassing. Tell the referee he's a disgrace. That's effectively what the FA have done by sanctioning, but by not pressing forward with any punishment here. What they've said is, it's okay. It's okay, young footballers, 8-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 21-year-olds. It's okay. You do what you want because you won't get punished. So for me, that's why I think it's a disgrace. I get why he was angry. I get that game was crazy, the refereeing decisions for both sides, by the way. But anyway, to answer your question, Connor, I think, and Postecoglou, if our performances dropped off, then I'd say, yeah, you're right, Connor. But our performances haven't dropped off. Right? We got decimated after that Chelsea game. His words, by the way. We lost too many players. We weren't a team that could handle losing 2 good players, let alone 5, 6, 7, right? So by I'll come back to this in a minute. By losing those players, every Spurs fan thought, that's it, we're done. We've got no centre backs. We've lost the wing back. We've lost half the midfield. Bentancur, who's just come back, he's now out as well. We are screwed. But yet, other than the Wolves game, we played really well against Aston Villa. We played really well against West Ham. We played really well against Newcastle. Wolves, we didn't play well. But every game since that Chelsea game, we've played really, really, really well. So when I look at it, he's got a group of players that Conte, Mourinho, Nuno, Stellini, Mason wrote off. He's using them and he's getting them to play the same football that he had the first team playing, that the first team was top of the league. And he's doing it with Lo Celso's, Brian Hills, Højbjerg's, who else has been playing out wide? Chicken Royale at centre-back. Ben Davies at centre-back for the last 4 games.
Eric
Right?
Dyer.
He's doing it with them. So I don't think it's got anything to do, the results, with his personality on the sidelines, Connor. The results are because we've lost too many key players, but we should have beaten West Ham. We should have beaten Villa. We didn't, so it doesn't matter. But our performances have been bang on. And that's why every Spurs fan is behind this manager, like big time, because we're seeing a direction. We're seeing a team that is going after every team with no fear. To get a result at City, I know we got lucky in the first half, but man, second half, we gave arguably one of the best teams in Europe a game and a half at their ground with our second string. So, no, I don't think the sidelines has got anything. I don't think Ange's behaviour has got anything to do with results, because the performances are there. We're just not clinical enough. We need more goal scorers in the team. We're lacking that.
Yeah. So no, I want to piggyback off that and maybe get Will's overarching opinion on it. I just think that criticism of the refs is not a bad thing if it's done correctly. I think that managers are given a voice. They're put in front of the media. They're constantly under scrutiny from their fan base, other fan bases, their management. I think that to say that the refs are not are immune to criticism is just not factual. I think that they need to be held to account, and sometimes they are. What's his face? Freaking, I don't remember if it was Anthony Taylor or whoever it was that got demoted to the championship and then had to come back up for poor refereeing decisions. I just think that there's a way to do it, and the way that Mikel Arteta did it, big up Uncle Rods, big up everybody in the chat, by the way. The way that Mikel Arteta did it wasn't necessarily the most how do I say, like professional way to do it, but to say that the refs are immune to criticism is just not factual. And obviously, Ange has not really been presented with the need to criticize, whereas I think Mikel Arteta has more of a case. Do I think it was embarrassing the way he did it with Newcastle? Yes. There were several times during that game where I think we should have finished and we should have won. Like I said, our XG was a lot higher than theirs was. Anytime we drop points, our expected goals have been higher this season. So he's I think that was more of an emotional reaction to losing than anything else. But I think to say that refs are immune to criticism is just not factual. But what do you got to say, Will?
No, I mean, refs aren't immune to criticism, but I don't think necessarily the way that Arteta did it was necessarily criticism, right? Like, he was just straight up like, this is a disgrace.
Yeah.
Right? In fact, I think I have it here. So.
Oh, God.
Where is it?
You got it on your soundboard?
I do.
Oh, God. No, I know what it's going to be. I think I know what it's going to be.
But it's not playing right now. So
okay.
I'm not getting any sound for some reason.
I'm waiting for a baby to cry.
Is just a baby crying? Yeah.
No, that's this. That works. That's weird. Why is there no sound coming out of that?
True, Hendon Gooner. True.
But no, they have. He's basically just like, it's never a goal, never a goal. He doesn't know if it was a goal or not. Like, he doesn't know. Like, if it was done, like, say he would come out and been, law 12.3, the referees in law 12.3 states right, and by these measures, this and this, I think that they made a mistake here. I understand that it's subjective things, but this isn't a subjective rule. Like, if you kind of broke it down, like, by the P's and the Q's, then maybe in a calm type of manner, he was just like, never a goal, right? And nowhere else is ever a goal. It's an absolute disgrace, right? And you want to call yourself the best league in the world, right? Like, that's not, but you're taking shots at the whole league here, right? Yeah. Not even just the referees, but the structure as a whole, right? He's gone after everybody on that one. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's, he should have gotten in trouble for that, right? Or fine, at least, if he didn't get fined. And I don't know how it's not proven. Like,
I mean, you got a point.
Because he's on video.
Yeah.
What do you mean by to not be proven? Right? Because it's not even saying he's innocent. It's just like there's not enough evidence.
What would it be?
Video do you need?
Would it have been he's banned from a couple of games on the touchline? Was that what it would have been? I don't know. Does he have to pay a certain fine? I don't get what would the actual punishment have been if he was found.
Connor, guys, do you know what's happened here, right? Because I deal with this stuff all the time, right? When you are charged by the FA, there's hundreds of rules, right? Hundreds of rules. First of all, they've probably charged him with a rule that was inappropriate. I guarantee there would have been another rule they could have charged him with. Bringing the game into disrepute, that's grounds for debate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas if they charged him for just unable to control your conduct, I know there's a rule like this, control your conduct on a match day, they could have easily won that case, the FA. The other thing as well is once the FA charges you, there's a process they have to go through. For example, step 1, 2, 3, 4, and then eventually you get to whatever step 8, 9, and charge. If you can prove any one of those steps wasn't unfairly carried out, or it was carried out in an unfair way, you can win the case. Even though you might be guilty, you can win the case if you can prove one of those steps is wrong. And that's why process is fundamental in this. And I bet you somewhere in this process, one of the steps, someone got it wrong. And that's where Arsenal have doubled down on, and that's where your case would have been fought. And that's probably where you've won it.
Because it's not a goal. For many reasons, it's not a goal. For more than one reason, at least, it's not a goal. And it's too much at stake here. We put so much effort.
Well,
What was that? Was that for after the game?
That was after the game. That was after the Newcastle game. That was what he got in trouble for. But it look at the end of the day, we didn't play well enough to win at St. James's Park, and he was emotional about it. Like, let's be real, but
Oh,
go for it.
Oh, it's out of time now. You should.
No. Yeah. Well, you got to. Your finger, it needs to be on the button. Connor.
I need a soundboard.
Yeah, but let's be real about it though, guys. We have to realize that this was made in an emotional way. This was made in an emotional state of mind, and I think that the fact that he wasn't punished obviously benefits us, but I could see easily it going the other way. So I'm not really offended by it. I'm actually more upset by the fact that he got a yellow card and had to miss the Aston Villa game for celebrating our last minute winner against Luton. I thought that was more of a joke, because you got hipster managers like freaking De Zerbi going out there running onto the pitch, knee sliding when he gets a last minute winner, and he doesn't get yellowed for it. Yeah. So I just think that there has to be a level playing field.
He's asking for it, right? So when you're going out there and when you're doing what he's doing against the next, you got to know that referees are going to be headhunting for him now, right? It's like the same thing with Romero, right? Romero has this reputation of being rash, even though he actually isn't in reality. So referees give him harsher, calls when he does something because they're expecting him to do something rash. So that's Arteta's fault, because he's made those comments, after and post-match interviews and stuff like that, and it's made news and headlines. The referees are going to be hunting from him. He's going to have to be extra careful in order to not get touchline bans and cards and stuff from the sidelines.
I mean, De Zerbi almost threw a punch against your guy last year, didn't he? So why doesn't he get that same treatment?
I don't know. I don't watch too many Brighton games, to be honest with you.
See, well, I mean, who was it? Was it him? Yeah, it was him and Stellini. I think got sent off last season because they were arguing,
just yelling at each other.
Well, still, it's the same. I mean, how is that any worse than leaving the box? I mean, you could argue that it is worse.
I think they did both get carded in that game.
I think they both got sent off, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. Somebody in the chat remind me, but yeah, I mean, all I'm asking for is level playing.
Didn't do anything.
Yeah, all I'm asking for is a level playing field here. That's all. So, and Connor changed the group or changed the picture, so that means we're moving on.
Oh no! Get ready for the next topic. I'm just getting ready for the next one.
Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, Connor, and we can throw it down to Will and Stell here. But from my standpoint, any of those teams could beat us, except for maybe Copenhagen.
Yeah, Copenhagen and Port. I don't think Port are that.
Don't underestimate Copenhagen, guys. For me, watching them play, I watched them play this year. They're a cracking football team. Don't write them off like that. You should beat them, but they're a really good football team. They play football the right way. They're good. You should beat them, but they're good. Don't listen. You haven't been in the Champions League for a long time. You've forgotten how it works, right? Don't start writing off teams because you've got a bigger name. It's been a while. I'm not, what is it, 7-8 years? Just
true.
Yeah, been to a final. We know.
Yeah, we all know. We've heard this.
I'll take Lazio. I think Lazio have been very poor this season in the Serie A. I think losing Milinkovic-Savic has played a lot of a big part for them as well in the midfield. I think they've been quite poor. But no, do you know what? Knowing our luck, TJ, I mean, we got Liverpool in the bloody FA Cup. I wouldn't be surprised if we get drawn into a PSG. I seriously wouldn't. And if we get Inter or PSG, say goodbye to that round.
Well, I know. That's what I was saying. If we get it, we'll get an Inter and we'll get a PSG, and and that'll be it.
I think any of those teams, bar Copenhagen, have a good chance of knocking you out.
Even Lazio, you reckon?
Yeah, because you guys away for him, and your group was not good.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, and also
to be fair, one of those away games was essentially a friendly.
But to be fair, we haven't actually experienced, in my opinion, in no disrespect to our people in our group, an actual top level European team to go against. And I think once we do, I think we'll really. Oh, shut up! I think for once we'll really.
I thought you won the Champions League last week. I thought you won it.
See, now this is the thing, right? And I'm going to make
you were celebrating. You was as if you won it.
Self-reflecting top gooner opinion.
I'm going to make this very clear, right?
Top of our group. We won our group. We're top of the. We
didn't celebrate that. That was the minimal expectation.
Stel likes to go on Twitter and he likes to have a look at all the Arsenal fans' opinions, and he sees one opinion from a couple people. And and all of a sudden, that's every single Arsenal fan's opinion.
I'm going by
he goes and looks at Egal and Welby on our channel and starts being like, "Oh, you guys celebrating?"
I wasn't celebrating that we won the Champions League.
I'm going by Connor's private WhatsApp messages.
He's
to
just
me.
He's just a wind up.
Why do you see me? Do you see me saying we're going to win the Champions League? I think honestly, if we get past the round of 16, that's success for me. Because I genuinely, if we come up against a Napoli, Inter, PSG, RB Leipzig, yes, you can say Porto, Copenhagen, and Lazio could be us. I genuinely think that they're teams that we can compete against. But those four, I genuinely think we're going to get a sense of reality, and a lot of people, Arsenal fans, are going to get a sense of reality. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, we're new, we're different, Arteta's different, all this. We're going to go ahead and walk through it. I really don't think we are. I genuinely don't think we are. And in the way that we've gone against the likes of Newcastle this season, Aston Villa, even bloody Luton, you look at those particular games and you think, if we do that in against the top European side, we're screwed. We're not going to come back from it at 4 goals. We're not. So it's worrying. And but listen, I'm here to enjoy the ride because I hope and I think we will. Well, fingers crossed, get Champions League again next season. But this season I'm more judging on how Arteta can do against these sides, but then I look again how he's performed in the Europa League, which is a step down from this competition, and we all know how he's done in that against teams that have knocked us out, like Sporting Lisbon, many of other teams that have knocked us out. And I'm thinking, well, can he change it up this season? Because a lot of people are saying, oh, it's different, it's this and that. And I'm thinking, well, if we look at the Europa League, when it's a different set of teams, in probably not, well, it's a certain situation of where the teams are, level of stature and all that. But majority of the teams aren't as good as when they come through into the Champions League from the Europa League, unless they get knocked down. And I don't see personally, and I do look at our games, TJ, and I know we did absolutely dominate PSV and Lens at home in our UCL games. But then I look at that and I think that's not really the likes of what we're going to come up against. That's why I was really
look at the lineups that we were playing too, Connor. Like there's so much context to be talking about on this. Like, yeah, our Europe form away has been awful. Like we all know that. That's literally like saying the sky is blue. Arsenal are not good away in Europe. It's just, and it honestly doesn't matter who the manager is either. It's just, it is what it is. But context needs to come into this conversation a little bit. We were through. We knew we were through. I mean, we knew we were through in some form before we even played Lens.
I'm talking about the other games.
What?
Like
Lens
away was a gong show. Like we were awful that game. Like that's not.
But
that's
even
not.
Your Sevilla away game wasn't like super convincing, and Sevilla's really, really poor this season. Like it's like,
yeah, but who are we playing in that match? Who are we playing in that match?
Sevilla.
Who? Yeah, I know. No, you know what I mean. Who was in our lineup? It wasn't our strongest lineup.
I don't know what your
talking about Sevilla away
right now, to be honest with you.
Sevilla away.
And I'm not saying
telling me
it was on main 11, TJ.
Oh, was it? Okay. Well,
Jorginho.
I'll take the other. Jorginho. Well, it's one of those things where look, we were through by the time we played. Essentially, by the time we played Lens, right? once we got that win away against Sevilla, it was pretty much in the stars. So
in these double leg ties, though, that's a straight double leg tie. The thing is these teams that have been in this competition a while, they will come and they will stink it out at your ground. They will stink it out, right?
Yep.
And it'll be like a 0-0, right, or a 1-0, and then they will absolutely, and they'll score 2 or 3 at home, right? Because you're talking, this is a, what do you call it? I'm drawing a blank now for some reason. My brain's gone flat. Where you combine the scores together. So
Aggregate.
what is wrong with us? Aggregate, yeah.
Aggregate.
All right.
But
Will's tired from his public relations tour. Keep going.
No, I'm not tired from my public relations tour. Sometimes my brain does that. It's a defect of my autism, I guess. But But yeah, so they're going to show you how to play this competition, and this is what I'm saying. Like, you guys, I don't think your team is that much better. I think your team is actually a little bit weaker than it was last season. And you guys were getting knocked out. You got knocked out to Sporting, who did exactly that, right?
Mm.
They beat you at their ground and then stunk it out at your place and got through on pens, right? So I mean, that's what's going to happen. And have you guys learned from that? And so for me, that's what I've got to. Go up.
I don't even think that we're necessarily our starting 11. I don't think is weaker than we were last season. I just think that Arteta is approaching this in a completely different way. We were very, very attack minded last season, but we were leaking goals. We were leaking a lot of goals, and up until that Luton match, we weren't. Right? We were the best statistically. We were the best team in the league. You can say what you want about who we were playing. Blah 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 blah. That's fine.
You conceded the least amount of goals in the league, and if that's your metric for best defense, then yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's most people's metric.
Yeah, I don't necessarily use
surely
it as
league
that.
position is the metric, no?
Well, second place isn't bad.
Well, we're talking about best defense.
And before the Luton match, we were in first.
For me, I go by,
Before Chelsea,
if
we
we're
were
talking a
first,
total team, it's goals conceded, goal differential, and then, how goals are scored, right? Score lines and stuff like that. So,
yeah. Well, different. Go ahead, Connor.
I was going to say, I've got the next topic, and obviously we've got you guys. So let's talk about the league, because that's really where you can both talk about, because obviously you guys aren't in Europe. That's not a dig at all. Just saying. But yeah, let's talk about the league. You guys are 6 points behind us, right? And I did see a lot of chests saying, "Oh, how are we only 6 points behind after losing 5 games?" And I'm like, yeah, cool. But let's look at it in hindsight. Do you, both Stow and Will, do you still believe you can catch up with us? And do you even think you can go above us?
yes.
Coming up with our fixtures. I haven't even seen your fixtures coming up, and Will said yes
I don't know
already.
if Stel's ever had that belief, but I have, and I do believe yes. In fact, I think we'll be within 1 point of each other in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I look at your fixtures, and you do have an easy. Well, Nottingham Forest away, I definitely think you can win there. Everton will be interesting. I'm not going to lie. Are you guys worried about Everton with their form recently? Do you reckon there'll be a challenge for you with your injuries? No. Not at all.
Yeah, I want to know why. On that one, Everton are pulling out results all over the place, despite the fact that they got a 10-point.
Yeah, Everton are pulling out results against average teams who can't really play football. We don't have a problem playing football.
Even with your injuries, you still think you'll be able to get a result against them?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I got to hear why. Especially, I got to hear your reasoning
We
behind
literally just beat Newcastle 4-1. We
Same
drew
team.
3-3 with Manchester City.
Literally,
We dominated Villa for 90 minutes.
You're not taking at all into consideration the Newcastle team that you played.
Sure, I am. It's the same
The Newcastle team
that played the week before that. The week before that.
No,
It's actually
have you seen their injury list? Their injury list is a mile long.
Their injury list has gotten better. They've been getting players back just like we have. We actually played a stronger Newcastle team than the teams that played Newcastle 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Do you know this thing about injuries, right? I'm going to bring it up on every show tonight. Like,
Can't wait.
It kind of stinks, right? Because when we had most of our injuries and suspensions, All I was told was, oh, you can't use it as an excuse. Man United have got injuries. Newcastle have got injuries. Look at them. How are they doing it? How's Eddie Howe doing it? You don't want to criticize Ange. You don't want to... Okay. So Newcastle below Tottenham. Man United below Tottenham. Man United getting slapped by Bournemouth for the first time in their history.
Man United's a terrible example.
Out of all European competitions, Eddie Howe destroyed by Tottenham, out of all European competitions as well. So either stop criticizing Ange, not you two. Either stop this conversation of criticizing Ange and say, unless you're prepared to go in hard on Eddie Howe and go in hard on Ten Hag, or how's about Eddie Howe, Ten Hag, and Ange have all struggled because of injuries? Because this is like, if we're going to use this injury argument, you've got to apply it to Spurs as well, man. You have to, because
I have them. Yeah, I know. I think you guys will be third if you didn't have all those injuries.
So TJ, so when you say, oh, but
Will,
we
do you think higher than that?
Huh?
Do you think higher than that? Will, do you think higher? What?
He didn't like
first?
that. He thinks he'd still be at top of the table. Go ahead, Still.
The table.
Yeah. We easily win the Villa game. We easily win the West Ham game. That's 6 points right there, which puts us on even points than you. And if you think that we're losing the Wolves without those injuries that we had, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
So it's just having Maddison. It's having Maddison and
Madison and Van de Ven. Yes, absolutely. Our whole problem against Wolves was that having a midfielder that could find Son and play and connect the transition between our midfield and our front line. That's literally what James Maddison did. The fact that we lacked creativity in that moment right there, right, and the fact that we had to play with Eric Dyer and Ben Davies in that back line. There's no way that if the Chelsea situation never happened, we're not top of the league right now.
So what lost you those 5 games? Was it to do with the fact that you have the players that you had in the team weren't the players that can keep up with Ange's tactics? Was that was the situation?
Yeah.
But so if you had 2 players in there that are injured, the whole thing would change and it would be perfectly fine again.
Yeah, because you saw that because in that Wolves game we were missing Udogie, we were missing obviously both center backs, and we were missing Maddison, right?
Mm.
So those 4 players there, when they come back in the next game week, you have Udogie dropping back in, the quality improved, right? We played Aston Villa, and we pretty much dominated them for the entire 90 minutes. Then we drop in back Basuma or whatever, Sar. We get the Man City result, right? And then you go to the West Ham game. You're dropping in another player, Pat Matasar come back in, this and the other, or in Romero, and the result improved again. Right. So and then every single time that we've added somebody, the performance level has gone higher and higher and higher. So if we had lost, I would say that there's a problem at Tottenham if we had been dropping points without these players, but we haven't. In fact, the more we get back, the better the results get.
Okay.
I mean, literally, like...
To be honest, Will, even having fringe players that aren't great back has helped. Like Richarlison, for example, we all know he's not good. But Jesus. The fact that he's another option for us to have is something we didn't have for the last kind of 2-3 games. We had like no options on the wide areas.
He's still the best Brazilian striker in the league so far this season. So
yeah, but he is crap though. I mean, come on.
The bar is through the floor.
He's crap. He's still the best Brazilian striker in the league.
Brazil are rubbish.
Statistically, I would love to see the statistics on goal involvement.
Yeah, he's higher.
I would love to see that statistic because there's no way Richarlison has higher goal contributions than Gabriel Jesus.
But there's also the fact you've got to look at the factor of they're counting just Premier League goals. When I think of in the league, I'm not just counting the Premier League. You want to be counting other comps as well, but we're not allowed to.
But we're not in those comps. We're not in those comps.
That's just an excuse. That is just an excuse.
No,
for all we know, Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli could be putting things in the Euro. It's fact. Still, it's not our problem. You're not in Europe this season, right?
But it's not our problem that you're comparing 2 variables that aren't the same.
But I'm comparing overall this season. For Richarlison, if you wanted to,
But
could
you're
double his
playing
goal.
more games. You're playing. We're
Yeah,
not
but
playing
let's
as
think
many
about last
games. So
season.
how,
So
Hey,
last season,
Martinelli
hold on.
could have stinkers in all those games
Look,
if they
we can throw this.
Yeah, but I
we can
would've-
throw a hold on. We can use history to make a hypothetical in which we can compare the two, right? And you just have to look at Richarlison in the Champions League last year, where he had 2 goals and 2 assists, right? That's only 2 less goals than Gabriel Jesus in the Champions League this season, and then in the league, Richarlison has 2 times as many direct goal contributions as Gabriel Jesus. There you go. And in your group, where you played the easiest teams in all of Europe to play against, why wouldn't Richarlison score some goals there?
Like you guys didn't last season.
Richarlison scored in the Champions League against
for the
Marseille.
record.
I'm just saying, if you're going to
take-
throw the easiest group argument around, we can just go ahead and look at the group stage from last year.
We didn't have the easiest group last season.
Who did? Who had an easier group than Tottenham last season?
Lots of people. I'll show you.
Oh yeah, no, I would
We
love to see that, because yes, while we did get eliminated by Sporting, like who was your other person in that? AC Milan?
AC
I don't even
Frankfurt.
remember.
No, AC Milan
No,
was
we
the
had
knockout.
Frankfurt,
Frankfurt and Marseille.
Marseille,
And Marseille.
and
So Arsenal's B team.
Sporting.
Frankfurt, and Marseille. Will.
Nah.
Can I just say for the record,
Lens.
I would take Jesus over Richarlison all day long. Having said that, in the Premier League, just the Premier League, Richarlison is outdoing Jesus. Don't ask me how, because I wouldn't take him. I told you.
Here's the thing: they're a different profile of player playing in a different system.
Yeah, but Connor, that's what it takes.
So the comparisons are a little ridiculous.
Are we really saying that this man, Richarlison, takes off his top after what was it? What goal was it again? What was it? What happened?
He's got 3 goals and 3 assists. He's only got 2 goals and 1 assist.
Connor,
So
the issue here isn't if it's by 1 goal, right? The issue here isn't if it's by 1 goal or half a goal. The fact they're even close, that's the problem.
Yeah, it's pretty
Jesus
sad.
should be miles away of Richarlison, but he's not.
And I think Gabriel Jesus has played more games than
Different approaches. Like I said earlier in the show, guys, Arteta is not playing attack-minded football. He's not. He's playing possession-based. Okay.
Can I ask
you, other than the rock and roll football that you guys are playing, that is literally dependent on scoring goals. Go ahead.
I want to ask you guys a question about this, right? So I disagree with Will. I think Arsenal will finish above Spurs, and you should. You spent more. You're further down the process. You've got a better squad.
So, sorry to interrupt you. Literally 2 seconds. Will, I've heard a rumor that if we finish above you, you've got to wear an Arsenal shirt.
Yep.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh my god. Where did you do this?
You've lost your mind, Will. Mate, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Will, I'll send you mine. I'll send you mine.
I'm not gonna lie.
I plan on at the end of the show tearing it off like Hulk Hogan and pissing on it. So
okay, well that's not okay. Never mind.
I was the guinea pig, right?
Money. Why are you betting?
I was the guinea pig, right? Everyone should have looked at me, the guinea pig, for this.
I have never made a bet on an Arsenal top, and I've always mocked Stelios for doing it. I told him it was stupid. That's how confident I am. I would not make this bet if I did not feel with every ounce of my being.
If you lose, I'm coming on with a Willis stupid t-shirt.
Oh, what is it with you Tottenham fans and wearing Arsenal shirts? I swear to God.
It's like you guys want to be fans.
I said $10. Look, I said $10, right? It was this Mo show, and then Mo brought up the Tottenham kit part.
Oh, I'd never wear that thing.
I don't gamble, so I don't profit from making predictions. So
anyway, sorry, go on, bro.
Yeah, no, I've got a question for you guys, right?
Gabriel Jesus has 2 more GCA than Richarlison, so 3-5.
The fact Jesus and Richarlison are close is a problem. That alone is a problem for me.
You know that.
We know. I mean, we know that. You also have to remember that Gabriel Jesus has an issue with staying on the field and staying healthy. I mean, that's another thing too you have to consider, and we're not considering here.
Richarlison had surgery. He was out for 6 weeks.
I know, but I'm just
2 more games than Jesus.
Yeah, he's played more games than Jesus. That's my point.
Nobody's played less minutes. Let's not do this. If you look at their total,
I agree. Let's not do this.
Yeah,
I agree.
7.1 for Richarlison, 7.4 for Gabriel Jesus.
I agree. The comparison at all is ridiculous.
Can you also say that they're two different types of players? And I'm not saying, oh, they're both strikers.
Different types of
They're,
players.
they're both players and striker. They're
Oh,
both
Jesus.
playing striker.
Yeah, but I think every Arsenal fan would happily say that Jesus is not an out-and-out striker.
He's a winger playing
He's
striker.
Forward cam role. I
Yeah,
swear
but he's
to
never
God.
played winger. You know, like he does when he sometimes. But what I'm saying is,
But
like,
if you
he's-
watch him, so Will,
Man,
so-
he played on the wing.
Richarlison played. Richarlison
we're
played left.
arguing about who's more
Played left
shit.
wing for
Quick
Everton.
question. When Richarlison plays for Tottenham, does he drop deep? Does he go back?
Sometimes.
Yes, to defend.
Jesus
To
is
defend.
always dropping deep and going back. You will see
Yeah,
Jesus more in the midfield. You will see Jesus more in the midfield.
He's so short that people in the back can't see him unless he comes back. And
Context is important here, Hendon Gunnar. Context is important
If
here.
you could ask any Arsenal fan, you would not think that Jesus is playing striker for us, and that's not a bad thing. You will catch Jesus more in the midfield near Odegaard's role. I forgot what game it was, TJ. I swear to God, Jesus played a midfielder
No, he's
role
in the box. I bet their heat maps aren't that much different.
in a
think we're
game.
just-
I
we're
wouldn't
just
mind
trying
that.
to
I think it was Brent. I
tough
think it was
shots here on
Brentford.
whose
I think it was
striker sucks the
Brentford.
most.
I think
Do
it
you
was
have a heat
Brentford.
map for an Arsenal?
I just don't think Jesus is clinical in the Premier League. Dude.
You
I just
know
don't
that.
think he's clinical.
We all know that.
You know?
He would rather do another step over than take the shot, and that we all know that.
So I want to get this question to you guys. I've been trying to ask you for 10 minutes, right? I'm going to get it
Oh
out.
no, let's talk about something else. I'm really hungry, guys. What do you guys want to eat? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
What is it stuff?
As long as it's not
Go ahead.
that deep dish pizza, because that's terrible. That deep dish. That's
Oh, we could talk. We could dedicate a show to that. But go ahead.
normal, either Italian or New York slice. That's it. All right.
No, I agree. I
Um,
agree. I agree with you. It's a casserole otherwise. But go ahead.
It's awful, dude. I
I
went
love
to
deep dish.
Chicago.
What are you
and
guys talking about? That's the best pizza there is.
I will.
That's what I order every single time, man.
Dude,
That Chicago
dude,
deep
Connor,
dish.
it's-
shut off the
it's-
rails. Stell, for the love of God, ask your question.
Ask your question, Star.
it's-
Now he doesn't
it's
even
a messed
remember
up
what it is.
lasagna. Yeah. So, yeah, Arsenal this season. Okay. Now, I fully expect you guys to finish above us and to be in a title race. And I expect my expectation this season was for Spurs to probably finish about 8th, 7th. But when I saw how quickly Ange had impacted this team, and now I understand exactly what Ange is about, because I never knew this guy before. I fully expect Spurs to challenge for top 4. And once our players come back with only one game a week, I expect Spurs to get that full spot. I do. I really believe that. So for me, my expectation now is Spurs to get top 4. If we don't, it's not the end of the world, but I expect us to get it. Minimum, we've got to get back into the Europa Cup. So on that basis, I still believe Arsenal will finish above us. This is where Will and I disagree. Having said that, though, you finished 24 points ahead of us last year. There's currently a 6-point gap. Long way to go. But the gap between us has closed a lot. Now, why is that? Is it because Spurs have improved and Arsenal haven't? Is it because Arsenal are playing a different style of football, so it's more calculated and the points will come later on in the season and Spurs will drop off? Listen, I don't know. But for me, when I look at you guys play, I have to say, as much as I can't stand you lot, last year, you were a fantastic team to watch.
Yeah.
Just on the eye, you were great to watch.
Yeah.
And I don't believe your style is what cost you. What cost you was when you lost Saliba, you couldn't adapt. And signings like Ben White for 50 million and other defenders you bought, they didn't step up to the plate and you messed it up. So that's why I lost it, not because of the way you play. So Arteta's changed it this year. You're boring to watch, man. Like, I don't really enjoy watching Arsenal play football. There's been a couple of games this season, like when you played PSV at home, I thought, wow, that's really good performance. But in general, I'm bored watching you play. And I want to ask you this question. Do you honestly believe this way of playing, you're going to win the league? Because for me, I think Arteta's still got time to change this way of playing and free the shackles, because I don't think you're getting the best out of Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, Odegaard. And I think if he just changes it for the second half of the season, you can genuinely win it. What do you think? Because for me, I just don't see it. And I'm not being biased. It's just what I see, guys.
Do you want to go first, TJ, or do you want me to?
No, you got it, Connor. I'll ride your coattails.
No, still, you're 100% right. I mean, if you were a regular on TJ Warren TV, which you're obviously not, you'd be hearing all these answers.
Like,
already.
subscribe, share, 22 Inside, smash
I
the
was
like.
obviously not an avid watcher of TJ Warren TV. It's all right. It's all right. No, I'm joking. But no, still, I 100% agree with you. And I'm so glad Stefan hasn't on the stream because he would be stopping me every single bloody second because I'm wrong, even though it's absolutely true. The football this season is nowhere near as good enough as it was last season. It's fact. And don't get me wrong, we've had individual performances like the PSV game, which was fantastic. Those 25 minutes was absolutely fantastic. And there was the game against London. Oh no, sorry, it was the game against London, which is very good, and then the PSV game was also very good. And there's been
really good. I mean, there were other games that we played very, very well.
But but we haven't had, and I know we beat City this season, which I was very proud of the team for because I honestly didn't think we were going to beat City for a long time. But no, it's very true that our football's changed this season, and you mentioned Saka and Martinelli, Stel, and I completely agree with the fact that, and I've said this multiple times before, even though we have somewhat dealt with it now, this season, and towards the end of last season, teams now doubling up on Saka and Martinelli, fullback and wingers, because obviously if you've got a one-on-one with both Martinelli and Saka, depending on the player, 8 times out of 10, that Saka and Martinelli are getting past that fullback. I'd like to think so anyway, because I think they're technically very gifted. But when you got 2 on them, especially Martinelli, recently, he does not know what to do with himself. Mm-hmm. He loves to cut inside. Every Arsenal fan knows that. Martinelli loves to cut inside. Absolutely loves it. And so does Saka, to be fair. And when they've got 2 on them, they can't do anything about that. And you know, TJ, I was crying for ages for Mikel Arteta to change something.
Yeah.
We've got the overlapping fullback, add that in, and it creates so much more freedom in that right and left-hand side for them to create more, maybe Martinelli to go a bit more deeper or Saka to go a bit more deeper, and then you can make an opportunity in the box. For my answer, Stel, before TJ goes ahead, I do believe that our football will not win us the league this season. As much as we're second and 1 point behind Liverpool, I get that, and I understand it. But we've seen it in the games against Luton, Aston Villa, Newcastle. It's not always going to go our way, you know? So the only way I believe that we can change it is bringing in a striker. I genuinely think a striker, a proper class striker, will change our season. Yes, you could say the tactics need to be changed as well. I can completely understand that. But from hindsight, because I'm not a statistician, I'm not a tactician, sorry. I'm not all, into the tactician side of football. But the way I see it is, and we brought it up earlier in the Charles and Jesus debate, we need a striker. We need a goal scorer. Mm-hmm. And I've seen all these blimmin' tweets. We got 66 million now from surpassing through the Champions League. We're now linked with this player and that player and that player. The only way we're going to win the Premier League title this season is if we bring in the likes of Ivan Toney or someone like Victor Osimhen. And that seems impossible because it is currently, because it is. And you look at the likes of Liverpool. I'm talking about Liverpool because they're top of the league right now. Look at all the attacking options they've got. And also they've got a world-class manager as well. Put that into it. But also, look at all the options they've got up front. Cody Gakpo, Luis Diaz, Mohamed Salah. I'm trying to think. Darwin Núñez, Diogo Jota. 5 fantastic players. And majority of them can play up front as in the striker role. So that's what's gonna be our downfall. And I know we talk about injuries, and it's all well and good saying, if this player gets injured, we're left with that, and we're left with that. But that's not the situation right now. But to answer Stel's question, I still don't, as much as we're in the title race, I still don't believe we're going to win it this season. I don't see that much has changed. If anything, like Stel said, I feel like we've gone backwards in terms of our football. Because you just look at the games last season, and when I said this to a couple of Arsenal fans, I got hate for it, but because of where we were in the league at the time. But you do look at it, I was having so much more fun watching Arsenal last season because of the football we were playing and the more excitement it was compared to now. And I completely agree with Stel. There is some points where I do have to go on my phone and have a look at something else because I'm watching the game and I'm thinking, really?
Big up, you go.
So, to finish up, because I've rattled on for too long, I don't believe that we're going to win the league with these tactics. I do believe that last season was a lot better in terms of football being played. I don't know what's changed. I like to, even though he's been all right recently, I like to think that Kai Havertz could have been the reason, because we all know that Arteta, especially at the start of the season, wanted to wedge him in somehow and change a lot of things around. But I don't know what tactics we can change because of the way we play our formation and everything. I really don't know. But the only way I could possibly see us actually getting over the line is buying that striker. I really do. But TJ, you hit it up.
Yeah, I'll go, and then you guys can keep going because I got to go back to work. But yeah, big up everybody inside. We have 18 inside. We're going between 18 and 19 concurrents the entire time, guys. Make sure you're smashing the likes. Thank you for coming by and spending your Thursday. It's Thursday evening with us here on TJ Warren TV. Make sure that you are subscribing to Will Stewart 365 and Tottenham Away as well. We will be over there later for the North London is Ours show. So my answer to this, I mean, I'm hoping, and my hope isn't being really answered right now, is that Arteta is playing chess and we're all just playing checkers, right? The football has not been fun to watch, but we have been getting results. So at least in the league. So up till this point, you could say what you want about it. Obviously, it's not the most fun to watch, but we are still in position to win this title. But whether or not it's sustainable, I don't think it is. We have to start scoring. We have to get that striker in, because if we don't, we're missing. And because if you look at and I've looked at this and I've said this several times, so I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record here, but in all of the games where we have dropped points in the league, we have had a higher XG than the people we drop points to. We have to start finishing our chances, period. Otherwise, you can kiss it goodbye. I'm not even talking about trophies. I'm talking about leagues. I'm talking about possibly top 4. We cannot continue this form because in all reality, we've had one of the easiest schedules in the Premier League so far, and we're getting into the doldrums. We're going up against a Brighton team, which you never know which one is going to show up. Then we got a Liverpool at Anfield, which you can basically mark off as an L. Sorry to be negative. We're not going to be.
That's what I was thinking, because you guys have lost 4 out of the last 5 home games against Brighton.
Yeah. And Brighton, like
comps.
I said, and Brighton are not the Brighton of last season, but you know for a fact that De Zerbi can light a fire under these guys and get a result against
They've
anyone.
got a lot of injuries, but Matoma was injured. He was out for a while, and they stopped scoring goals, but he's back now.
Yeah. And last time Matoma was a huge problem for us. Obviously, so was Caicedo, but it's one of those things where you never know what Brighton is going to show up. So I think Connor that this Brighton match this season or this weekend, and then I gotta drop big up everybody in the chat. Connor, keep going if you want.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a must-win game, because if we don't win this game and we go into Anfield with our heads down, you might as well just chalk that off as an L2.
Especially with the way we played it last season.
Yep. Exactly. Anyway, big up the chat. I gotta go to work. We will see you over on Tottenham Way a little bit later, everybody. Until then, see you later. Connor, take over.
Take care, TJ.
See you later, TJ.
Because you guys got pumped by Brighton last year. Pumped.
Yeah,
it was 3-0 you guys lost at home last season. Right?
Yeah. I also like to think though that game was a reasoning for we were practically out of the league title race. I think the players were a bit diminished, and I don't think.
But even in the League Cup, you guys got pumped 3-1.
Oh yeah, no, the League Cup was bad. No, but I think I can't remember what it was. I think we put out.
So the one in April of the season before that, you guys lost 2-1 at home to them.
The team
the last time you beat them at home.
The team we put out for that cup game was atrocious, and I was really pissed off.
The last game that you beat Brighton at home was the May game of 2021, and you beat them 2-0. But they beat you 2-1 the year before that. So
we've got the team to do it. It's just whether we're going to turn up or not. Because I don't want another.
I think
Brighton's their bogey team still. You can't say that they're going to beat Brighton.
I know. Well, I think Arsenal at home this season, if I'm right in saying they're unbeaten, right?
No,
we're not. I don't think. Hold on.
Who's beating you at home this season?
No one's beating us at home this season. My bad.
But they've drawn 2 games at home this season.
Yeah, but that's unbeaten, right? That's unbeaten. So I think at best, if you're a non-Arsenal fan, Brighton draw. But I think Arsenal will get something from this game, because I just think at home they're just probably the hardest.
Bar us.
You played Man City.
Man City. They beat Man City.
Bar us and City.
They beat Manchester United. They beat Man United.
Mm.
Oh, come on, Will. Who else do you want us to play?
So did Bournemouth.
What, do you want us to play Liverpool? We're not playing Liverpool at home until God knows when.
Listen, all I'm saying is, right, I'm not
Liverpool, Villa.
wowed. I'm not wowed by the Man City win or the Man United. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is at home this season, they're undefeated. And I just think they are probably one of the hardest teams, if not the hardest team, other than maybe Newcastle and Liverpool this season, to go to their ground. Nobody wants to go to Newcastle. Nobody wants to go to Anfield. Nobody wants to go to the Emirates. I think that will still be true this weekend. And I think, look, I'm a Spurs fan. I want Brighton to win. I want Will to be right. Of course I am. I hope Will is going to, on Monday say, Stel, I told you, Stel. You never listen to Stel. Right? But I think Arsenal.
Don't worry, I will.
Community page.
I think, sorry?
You want to post number 5 things on your community page about Aston Villa beating us 1-0. You fraud.
If Brighton beats you, Tottenham away social media is going to blow up.
It's ridiculous.
I promise you. Especially if we beat Forest.
That's ridiculous. Well, I think you will beat Forest. I do think he will be the reason Steve Cooper gets the sack. I really do. I don't think there's any outcome that they win that game. I honestly don't.
Connor, it depends if we take our chances, dude. Man, we're everything TJ said about Arsenal. The same applies to Spurs this season. The amount of shots, goal creation, shots on target, clear-cut chances that we are not taking, it's insane. We're lacking cutting edge as well. Spurs are lacking it too.
Yeah, but at least you've actually got the excuse with the injuries. We have practically our full 11. We don't. Saka isn't injured. Martinelli isn't injured. Gabriel Jesus isn't injured currently. We've got our quote unquote best attackers on the pitch. So you've got a couple of them injured. You don't even have an actual proper out and out striker goal scorer. So
to be honest with you, with Spurs, and this is all on Daniel Levy, you can't sell your best player for 100 million and not bring in adequate replacement. I've never known a club to sell their best player and not adequately replace them. Like
because you got the money still. Because he was one of your last transfer business, wasn't it?
Well, apparently we spent the money to buy
Brendan
Maddison
Johnson.
and to buy Van der Ven and Brendan Johnson.
I was going to say that about Brendan Johnson. I've seen a lot of Tottenham fans, because we'll obviously got to go in a minute still, because I went to preview the games. We've actually done that. Brendan Johnson.
That's right.
What is it with him? Because I've watched him a couple of times for Tottenham, and I'm thinking, very quick. We know that he's very rapid. But do you reckon he's worth that money? Do you reckon Nottingham Forest fleeced you a little bit, 50-odd mil for him? Look at it in hindsight. Was it really worth it?
A bit YTD for me, to be honest.
Yeah. What about you, Stubb?
What does that mean?
Yet to be determined.
Oh, yeah, I agree with Will. Like he hit the crossbar and he hit the post last game. He's getting better. He's getting better, especially when he's on the right wing. Playing like he's a right winger, and we've been playing him left because we didn't have.
I think he's
because of injury
a bunch of times.
Yeah, he has hit the post a bunch of times. He scored as well against Sheffield United, but it was deemed offside. So narrowly, he's getting better. Do you know what I think he is, Connor? When you buy a young player and they need time to adjust to a new environment, settle into a new tactic, and just find their feet. I think he's just one of those where by the end of the season, Will's right. It's too early to tell. But the problem is when you spend that much money, you expect impact now. Yeah, and that's where the problem lies.
I think the other thing is the market's going up rapidly now, and the likes of signings like Brendan Johnson for 50 million is only going to make it that's going to be the level. Now for young prospects coming through. That's the amount of money they're going to go for now. I honestly think if Garnacho was to leave United today, I think he'd be going for the same amount of money because it's just how the transfer window works now. But hey, listen, that's just me. We quickly talked about the Arsenal game. I personally think I like to think we're going to beat them. Stel, you think we're going to beat them this weekend? In your opinion?
Yeah, I think 2-1.
And Will, you think we're going to lose to Brighton this weekend?
I think the best result you're going to get is a draw, man.
Okay, it's fair enough. I can understand that. I mean, listen, I don't think
you lose and the draw. I think you can get a draw because you've been doing that. But you guys have only beaten them 3 out of your last 12, and that's a pretty poor record.
They've got a couple of injuries, don't they? If I'm right, Brighton.
Yeah, they have. So Brighton have out on their injury list right now.
Here we go.
I think Dunk's suspended, isn't he?
They've got March, Estupiñán out, which is obviously big. They've got obviously Welbeck out. Ansu Fati is, I think he's a maybe, but he's not an actual starter. Webster
Why is
and
Thomas Partey? Why is Thomas
Oh,
Partey
gee.
not on that list? Oh, there he is.
Why is Thomas?
He's at the top.
Oh, he is. He's there.
He's there.
Yeah, they've
Lamptey's
got
a
Dunk. They've
big
got
man.
Dunk back. Dunk is massive.
Basically,
It's-
just
that-
Marsh, Estepanian, and Lamptey. So at fullback,
Yeah.
and then Solly Marsh at midfield. Webster should be back, but he's not a very big player for them. But
they've still got
their
them. They've
lineup
still got
is-
the likes of Matoma. They've still got. I think
Yeah.
João Pedro still play up front for them still.
Evan
Lamptey and
Ferguson.
Estupiñán are good players for them. They're good wing backs, both of them.
So yeah, so you've really just got their midfield is a little bit weak, but their defense, Lewis Dunk was back, Milner's back.
The home,
Rob-
like still said earlier, the home aspect obviously gives me a lot of hope. But then again, you look at last season, and that wasn't the case when they came to us twice and they beat us. So it's going to be
They beat
interesting.
you 4 out of the last 5 at your ground.
They
That's what I'm
did.
saying.
They did. I mean, I'm just sort of praying. I'm just sort of praying for a win on
I still
Saturday.
think. Look, I think if you guys come back out like after this, Champions League high, and you think, oh, we've got Brighton, and you go on you sit on your laurels in this game, they will beat you.
100% they will. I mean, they're not just going for a nice day out. Brighton are coming there to obviously win. They're going to
And
put.
Zarbi's been getting a lot of heat in the media, and you know how much of a son of a bitch he is, right? So he's going to be.
Last season, I can't remember who they lost to before us when we played them at the end of the season. And he was like, "You'll see the real Brighton against
That's
Arsenal."
what he said this
And
week.
he came and done that 3-0. So, yeah, I'm not taking it lightly. And I hope we, again, Stel talks about earlier about the football's not great, so there may be moments where we may not do well. But hey, we'll see. Last thing I want to talk about, because you guys are here, let's quickly talk about the Tottenham game against Forest. I think you guys think that you're going to win it, aren't you? I think a lot of people think you're going to win it. Thoughts, either of you? Want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, they've been having really bad form lately, so, and we're starting to get some legs underneath us and starting to get turning some results. So yeah, I think we'll win. I think we'll win 2-0. I think it'll be a comfortable win.
Yeah, they're really bad. Stel, what about you?
We should beat them. I think. Look, Romero back is big for us. Porro is just becoming one of the best right wing backs in the league. He's becoming fantastic. Adoji he's been good for us all season. Bissouma is much better when Pape Sarr starts. So when those two play together, we get a much better Bissouma. Kulu in the 10 is better than out wide. Having a striker does free up Son to go left or go up front. So this team really, we should easily be winning by at least 2 goals against Forest. But what we know is football doesn't always work like that.
Ben
I mean,
Davies
the
has
manager's
been putting in
fighting
a
for his
shift.
life. The manager's fighting for his life. If the players care about their manager, they're going to fight for his position as well. So you never know. It's there's no easy game in the Premier League. But look, I think Spurs will win.
Our away form has been way better than our home form.
Forest
with you.
is so in the mud right now. They've got, the thing happened behind the scenes. The captain's now been withdrawn from the squad. Another player's been withdrawn from the squad. There's such a mess at that club. And Steve Cooper is on a knife's edge. It's literally about, he's like that. Am I leaving? Am I just staying? So I honestly, if you beat them, I think he's out the job. He's gone.
That's why Greeks should be managers and coaches, not chairman. Don't put a Greek in charge of the books, right? Because he'll cook. You think Paratici's bad?
We've seen it.
Put a fellow Greek man in charge. He'll cook.
How many players do they buy? They bought like a good 20 odd new players, something like that. And you see that it's like exactly what Chelsea done. It's not FIFA. You can't just buy a load of new players and expect your team to be good. It's
yeah. Spurs should win by at least 2 goals. Realistically, we should. But let's see. Listen, I watched us completely pulverize Aston Villa and lose at home. I watched us dominate West Ham and lose. So I take nothing for granted. I know how we're going to play. I know what we're going to do. I don't know if we're going to score though, Connor. And that's what it's always going to come down to with Ange Ball and the players we've got at the moment.
Even with Son, likes of Son in your team, you've still got the likes of Kulusevski there that could score maybe a goal as well. And you've got Richarlison.
They did it against Villa. They did it against West Ham. They did it against Wolves. Right? So
I think if he plays him out on the left, if Son plays out on the left, I think we probably win. If he tries to force him down the middle again without a winger that can find him or a midfielder that can find him, I think we'll be in trouble. But because that was the only problems is they couldn't find Son. Son didn't have a single touch in the box from the 17th minute forward against West Ham. How's that possible with the amount of possession and chances that we created in that game? Didn't have a single touch in the opponent's box. The problem is we're just not. They weren't. Our wingers can't find Son. They're not assisters. Son moving out on that left though has created in just one game against Newcastle more big chances than anybody has all season. So, not to mention actually getting 2 assists and a goal himself. It's simply just we lack quality. That's the only problem. And in the January window, I want a winger more than anything else, more than a center back,
Left
more
sided.
than anything.
Oh, yeah, that's great. You just great do that. It's great you do that. What are you guys expecting in the January window? Because we know what Levy's like with Tottenham and signings, very cheap.
Nothing.
Do you reckon you'll go in for something big? No, do you really expect
Nothing. We've signed 2 players every season in January for the last 3 years.
Nothing.
I expect 2 players, minimum of 2 players.
big signings or loans?
Same type of signings we have been doing, a Bentancur Kulusevski type of a deal, a Pedro Porro Danjuma type of a deal. Like
anyone on your mind at the moment, Will, in particular? That you want?
Rafinha
I'd love
from
Jota.
Barcelona.
Fina. Okay.
I'd love Jota. He's played under
Himself?
Ange. He's
Oh,
currently
one
seeing.
He's gone to Saudi, right? That one, Portuguese.
He's not even playing there, dude. And their season, I think, goes on break or it stops. So if we can get him on a 6-month loan with maybe with some kind of clause to
Why
buy,
would you go
I
get
think
Jota, a guy who could barely play in the Scottish league, over Rafinha at Barcelona? Why would you do that?
Jota was brilliant under Ange in Scotland. What are you
Scored
talking
10
about?
goals. He wasn't. Look,
Name me a
wasn't
winger
even
that scores 10 goals a season. That's shit.
That's shit.
10 goals. 10 goals from a wide player.
He scored 10 goals.
They're going for it.
You can only score what's in front of him.
Yeah, but he's not scoring 10 goals in the Prem. There's
Hey,
always a drop. Look, yes, I do know that. Look at every single striker. You have even Ivan Toney scoring 30 goals in the
28 goals
championship.
for Celtic.
Championship is a harder
Ivan
league than
Toney's a
Scottish
striker,
Premier
though.
League.
Ivan Toney's a striker.
Okay.
Jota's a wide player.
I'm talking about the drop in goals coming from lower competitions into the Prem. Right, there is a drop in goals. The defenders are better, they're faster, they're stronger, the game's faster, it's more physical, right?
Yeah, but Jota will be surrounded by better players in a better team.
Yeah, but he's the one that has to create. That's what we need him for in the system. He is the key. So he is going to face harder opposition, preventing him from going to create.
For me, there's 2 players I
Rafinha
would
scored
love.
more goals than him in Scotland in the Prem. So why would you go over Jota versus Rafinha? What sense does that make in any world?
No. I never said I'd take him over Rafinha, but I would
Rafinha's
like Jota.
available, right? He's only started 3 games for Barcelona. He's not getting game time. Wants to leave.
Yeah, but Will, realistically, we're not going to spend £70 million to
We don't
sign
need to spend
Rafinha.
any
It's
money.
not going to happen.
Right? They want Lo Celso. You swap or you get him on a loan.
Right. I doubt they're going to get a loan deal for Rafinha for 6 months.
But why not?
Because they want to
They're
sell
not
him.
playing him.
If you look at it statistically, Jota is probably
Maybe we can get a loan deal, but I think Barcelona will want to sell. I think they will want to sell.
They need to make the money, don't they? Because they need.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We have Lo Celso. They want Lo Celso, right?
Listen, Will,
Do a swap
I'm
plus
happy.
cash. Or you sell.
I don't think we're going to get rid of Celso. I don't think we're going to get rid of Celso.
Surely you want to bring in players more than selling them at the moment, right?
Yeah,
even
if get rid of Celso. With no Pape Sarr, no Bissouma, no Son, Bentancur out during January.
I see.
We're going to need.
I bet you see 2 or 3 players going to January.
Really?
Yeah.
Even with your injuries at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric Dyer, and those kind of players.
I get that. Yeah, I get that. But you know, especially if you really want to go ahead and achieve Champions League, I think you need all the players that you can get in terms of money.
But we need
I agree.
players that can actually play, not
Yeah.
just the ones that are on there.
Listen, for me, I would like 2 of these 4, right? Rafinha, Jota, Jimenez at Feyenoord, and Gift Orban. If we get 2 of those 4, I will be happy with that as a Spurs fan, because for me, they all work in an Ange system, and I believe they will bring to us what we need for now. If you go and buy an out striker like an Ivan Toney or whatever it may be, a proper out-and-out striker, that would be superb, which is why I'd like Jimenez. I think Jimenez would be great for us.
If you got Ivan Toney, I'd never show my face again. because the amount of times I've talked about this guy.
I mean, we
Connor, we won't know. We won't.
I don't think it, I don't.
Oh, but
His
Vlahovic
age
is the next
profile.
best. Vlahovic is the next best thing, apparently. He's the next.
Tony,
okay.
Ivan Tony's age profile doesn't
Yeah,
suit.
if you're
what we do.
Elias, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fraudsters. I'm telling you right now, Ivan Toney, if he was in our team, not only do I think he fits the caliber, because the thing with Arsenal is, and we're going to wrap up now, the thing with Arsenal is we love to cross balls into the box so much, but we've got no attackers above 6 foot. I think bar Kai Havertz. So Ivan Toney, one, brings that, his height. Secondly, he will get us 15 plus goals a season, easily, I like to think. And that type of thing is going to be crucial. And it's not just the striker we need. I think there's a lot more positions that do need to be fulfilled at Arsenal. I do think we need a good, proper left back still, because I think Zinchenko, and going to your point earlier, so I do think, talking about, tactics and all that, the likes of Zinchenko going inverted and then leaving us with a 3 at the back, and especially we like to play a high line now and then. In games, exactly. And in the games like the Champions League, and we've got Tomiyasu out as well, who was playing very good at left back, and Timber is also injured as well, who's playing at left back. There's our weaknesses there. And that's a weakness that Brighton can fulfill on the weekend.
If you want to talk about weaknesses at Arsenal, I think Trossard needs to up his game, because for me, recently he's been poor. But if there's one player in your team right now that I don't understand why he's at your club, that Ben White looks rubbish right now. Ben White, for me, I'm sorry, shadow of the player he was last season.
I get that. I also like to think it was down to the fact the tactics have changed. He was playing a more overlapping run last season. He was getting more involved.
Tomiyasu overlapping though when he comes in. That's what's weird.
That's exactly what I mean, though, Will.
Yeah.
When we're doing that, so for example, when
It's
Tomiyasu
true, he does, doesn't he?
was playing left back, we weren't doing inverted, none of that rubbish. But when Zinchenko's in there, he has to play inverted. And when Ben White's playing, he can't overlap. He's doing it for certain players, Mikel Arteta. So when Tomiyasu was playing for Ben White's position, he was overlapping. But then when Ben White comes in, I don't know whether it's just Ben White don't want to do it, or Arteta's telling him not to do it. I don't know what it is. But no, I agree with you. I don't think he's been there. But I don't think he's the main problem still. I don't think Ben White at right back is a main problem right now. I'm content with him. I don't think he's that bad. I definitely think his when it comes to one-on-ones, I think he gets scraped every time. If you put practically any winger on a one-on-one against him, he will probably flop. He never sticks a leg out. I'll say that.
Well, that's what's going to happen this weekend, isn't it? Matoma's going to be up against Ben White. What's going to happen there? You know what's going to happen.
Well,
I think.
Yeah.
I honestly
Matoma's
think
not match fit enough to start. That's the only thing that I can see. If Matoma starts, he's just coming back from that injury, right? He's been coming off the bench, getting up match fitness. Matoma starts, and you guys are still punch drunk from your, top in your Champions League group. You're gonna be in trouble. It's gonna be nasty.
I said it at the start of the season, and I'll say it again, and I've said it a few times. I don't understand why Arsenal got rid of Kieran Tierney. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he played that role going forward,
at the club. He's just on loan, right?
Shooting, scoring, defending. For me, I was so jealous that they signed Kieran Tierney. Now we've got Udogie, I'm okay with it. But for me, Kieran Tierney, he's everything I think you want from that role. I thought, but
doesn't fit the system still. That's the excuse. He doesn't fit the system. But hey, listen, we're gonna shoot off now. If you want to find there we go. If you want to find these guys, we will. Well, I think myself, I'll try and get on there. Tottenham away later, 9 p.m. I think UK
10 p.m.
Yeah, you can find us on. You can find these two on Tottenham away, North London is ours. That will be a good show later. Probably a lot of arguments once again. Do you two want to shout yourself out separately? Feel free to go for it. Will, Stel.
Yeah, so Stelio's there, as you can see twice. He's from Tottenham away. Tottenham away. Still going the old school route where you have tags now still, where you can do your Twitter handle and then the Tottenham away underneath it.
Yeah, but I want to overpromote. I like to overpromote.
Overpromote. Tottenham away. But yeah, check check out Tottenham Away. We do stuff on YouTube, and sometimes it's good. And yeah, that's about it.
You have to wind up a lot of people as well. You guys, I like to think that. So appreciate you guys coming on.
Listen, Tottenham Away is one of the most realist, straight talking Spurs YouTube channels. If you want to have real, no holding back, but not over the top ridiculous football content about Spurs, that's where you come. And every Thursday night we do a really good show with TJ and Connor and other Arsenal fans and people like Jez and Stefan and whoever else wants to come on. Tottenham v Arsenal every Thursday night, and it's normally a cracking show. And I think tonight it's going to be a good one. I think tonight's going to be.
This is the Let's Be Real show. Tottenham Ways is the Let's Be Real channel. So.
Oh yeah, okay. No, I do have to agree with Stel. That is one of my. It is one of my favorite shows to go on. I'm not gonna lie, it's a really good show. But do tune into that later. And yeah,
get TJ's channel. Get TJ's channel to 1,000 subscribers. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, 700 subs. So if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe and do head over to Tottenham Away later, where myself and TJ will most likely be there for tonight's show. North London is ours. But for now, guys, thanks very much for watching. Like I say, do please like and subscribe, and do subscribe to Tottenham Away as well. Even though they are Tottenham, they are a good channel, and they do good shows on there as well. And do subscribe to Will, by the way. Will Stewart 365.
Only if you like to smell good.
Yeah, and if you like to smell good. Yeah, and go over and subscribe to him. But yeah, cheers, guys, and we'll catch you guys later.